Hey everyone, so I thought I'd do another video today for my film highlight series. Now the first 3 months of the year for films for me was not that exciting, but over the last 3 months I've actually watched quite a lot of really fascinating films that really got my heart racing. So I've managed to narrow it down to 8 films, which I think will be really good to talk about today. These films I think everybody should watch, so that's what today's video is going to be all about. Information about directors, writers, cast and crew and links to IMDb pages will be in the below bar, so I don't want to talk about those too much in the video unless it's absolutely necessary, as the video will be far too long. So the first film I'm not going to say anything about in any depth because I've already reviewed it in a separate video, and that will be linked both below and in the icon here. That is Maleficent. Angelina Jolie was fantastic in the role. I thought the directing was very good. The story had a little hiccup at the end, or towards the end, that I wasn't a fan of, but for the most part I just thought it was beautiful and well worth the anticipation. The second film is the 2013 film Now You See Me, which I've been wanting to see in the cinema since it came out, and I don't like card tricks, I don't like that kind of magic to be honest, but this is fantastic. What is fantastic about this for me is that I didn't work out how they did a lot of the things, and that is the beauty of really cleverly well crafted magic. The casting in this is fantastic, but for me it's the story, and it keeps me hooked till the end because you're constantly watching it thinking, how did they do that? You're trying to solve the puzzle as you go along, and there are so many little red herrings and twists and turns all the way that just completely throws your opinion off track until you get to the end and realise, wow, wasn't expecting that at all. So definitely worth a watch. The third one is one that I know that a lot of people have seen, but it's taken me 8 years to get around to watching this, and this is the 2006 film V for Vendetta, which is brilliant. It's set in London, it's all about the Houses of Parliament on 5th of November, and of course I'm sure you're all aware of the V for Vendetta, the mask itself, which is quite infamous, and I know a lot of people kind of wear that for Halloween and things, but it's not scary, it's thought-provoking, it's beautiful, and it kind of makes you think, what side of the coin are you actually on in terms of this story? And I found myself siding with characters I didn't expect. It's very cleverly done, the soundtrack for it is gorgeous, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to see it. I really understand the hype now, and I didn't think I was going to like it, but it's now one of my favourite films that I've seen this year. The fourth one is another one that I didn't think I was going to like, and I'm really glad that I subscribed to Love Film because we get to watch a lot of films that I otherwise kind of wouldn't have thought about. And this is Sex and the City, and even my partner loved it, and he was like, I'm not watching it, I'm not watching that, it's a girly film. He absolutely loved it, and it's not just this kind of whole, it's not just about sex, it's not just about, you know, fashion and that kind of thing. There's a deeper storyline running right through it. Yes, it is kind of a girly film on the surface, but it's not really. Byron was featured in it at one point, which is great, but that's not why I love it. It's just a really nice film. Sarah Jessica Parker was probably my favourite. Carrie was definitely my favourite character in it, and I cannot wait to watch the second one. Now, until recently I've never been that bothered about Angelina Jolie, but after watching Maleficent I had to go and watch other things that she's done, and it just so happened that we had the DVD for The Tourist in the house because Johnny Depp's in it, and I love Johnny Depp, but I'd never actually got around to watching it. And after Maleficent we kind of said, right, let's watch this, I'm really in the mood for it now. It blew me away. It's another one of those stories where you think it's so predictable, and it's absolutely not. Basically, Johnny Depp's character, whose name has completely gone out of my head, finds himself leading this adventure, even though he's supposed to be a tourist, in a life with Angelina Jolie's character. Again, gone out of my head. For me, it's not about the characters, it's the beauty of the scenery, it's the development of the story. Although my favourite line is the whole ravishing, ravenous quote, which you'll know what I mean if I've seen that. I kind of just use that on a daily basis now, just out of the blue, randomly. Despite the fact that I can't remember a lot of the facts for this film, I absolutely love it, and I kind of became quite addicted to it. Number 6 I've wanted to see forever since it came out. This is Fright Night. I am in love with David Tennant. I've said that since I started doing YouTube videos. I adore him so much, and the film is really good. The first maybe 40 minutes, maybe half an hour wasn't that strong. The story was a little bit slow to develop, but perhaps coincidentally, once David Tennant's character comes in, it's absolutely wonderful. David Tennant's character, let's face it, I did watch this for Tennant. His character is physically appealing. The script for his character is wonderful. The writing in general for this film is really quite fascinating. And the vampires in this are good. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of vampire stories. I don't really care about vampires that much. They don't excite me. But in this, it's good. And it's not like a giant vampire fest where there's like a million of them. There's one lead vampire, and it's an interesting story. I definitely think you should go and watch it, especially if you're a David Tennant fan. I love it. That's all there really is I can say about it. I probably wouldn't watch it again. I'd probably go on YouTube and watch loads of clips of David Tennant's character pulling at his crotch. He does that. But I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it is very, very good. The next one I'd seen before, but it was a long time ago, and I don't think I'd seen the end of the film. This is American Pie. When I was in London a couple of months ago, Jason Biggs was on this woman when I was in the audience, and it kind of made me think I want to watch American Pie again. And it's so funny. It's not usually my kind of humour, it's not my kind of comedy for films, but I just couldn't stop watching it. I absolutely love it. Lord Byron was in that again. If you can spot the picture, let me know. Jason Biggs is beautiful. Alison Hannigan, I didn't actually realise she was in it until I started watching it because I hadn't seen it before How I Met Your Mother. Very, very funny. Obviously, if you're young, really young, it's all about sex. That's basically what it's about. I mean, yeah, there's a deeper story running through it about friendship and growing up and adolescence, but let's face it, it's a film about sex. Fantastic. Love it so much, and I will definitely be watching the rest of them, so they probably will feature in this highlight series at some point. Now, LoveFilm have a habit of pairing films up in any way that they can, so when they sent us American Pie, they decided they're going to send us Life of Pi as well. Pie's not even spelt the same way. Life of Pi is one of those films that I kind of regret not seeing in the cinema because it's fantastic when you watch it on a laptop screen on a DVD. I can only imagine how beautiful and crisp the images would have been on a giant cinema screen, and if it's ever back in the cinema, is kind of one of those, you know, little deals they have. I'll probably go and see it. It's a very heartbreaking story about Pi who loses his family. I'm not necessarily going to tell you how because I didn't know how either. And he's got to survive out at sea by himself with a tiger called Richard Parker, which I think is brilliant, and a couple of other animals. And it's a very beautiful story. I didn't think I was going to like it, and I well and truly loved it. Definitely recommend it. So that's my 8 highlights from over the last 3 months. Some fantastic films, and I'm sorry that I couldn't talk about every film that I watched. I loved a lot of them. My next highlights video will hopefully be in about 2 months' time, so there should be some good titles there. Let me know if you have any film recommendations for me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!